Miles beneath the surface, in water cold enough to kill and dark enough to blind, there are animals living in conditions that should tear them apart, and one of them survives without needing the sun at all. Everything we understand about life says the deep ocean should be empty. It is freezing, it is pitch black, the pressure could flatten a submarine, and there is almost nothing to eat. And yet it is full of creatures, each one solving the impossible in a different way. By the end of this, you will meet the animals built to live where we cannot, ending with one that broke a rule scientists believed could never be broken, that all life ultimately depends on the sun. To understand how strange these creatures are, you have to understand what they are up against. Life in the deep ocean faces 4 enemies at once. There is the cold, hovering just above freezing. There is the darkness, total and permanent, with no sunlight to see by or grow from. There is the pressure, which at great depth is over 1,000 times stronger than at the surface, the weight of an elephant pressing on a single thumbnail. And then there is hunger. With no sunlight, there are no plants, and almost nothing grows. Most food in the deep is whatever drifts down from far above, a slow rain of dead matter that can take weeks to fall. Any animal living down there has to beat all 4 of these problems just to exist. And the ways they have found are some of the strangest solutions in all of nature. Start with the darkness. In a world with no light, the deep sea anglerfish made its own. From a spine on its head, the female dangles a glowing lure, a small living lantern powered by colonies of bacteria that produce light through a chemical reaction inside her body. In the endless black, that faint glow is irresistible. Smaller creatures drift toward it, curious, and the anglerfish strikes. Its jaws stretching wide enough to swallow prey nearly its own size. It is a beautiful trick and a brutal one. But the anglerfish solves more than just darkness. In a place where finding a mate in the void is almost impossible, the much smaller male solves the problem permanently. He bites onto the female and never lets go, his body slowly fusing into hers until he becomes a living part of her. 2 animals merged into one because the deep is too vast and too empty to ever risk finding each other twice. And as alien as that is, the anglerfish still lives in relatively reachable water. Go deeper, and the pressure itself becomes the thing trying to kill you. Several miles down, in the deepest trenches on Earth, the pressure is strong enough to crush almost anything we build. And yet there is a fish that lives there, calmly, called the snailfish. It has been filmed gliding across the bottom at more than 8,000 meters, deeper than any other fish ever recorded. Its secret is to give up the very things we think of as making a fish strong. The snailfish has no scales, no hard protective armor, and barely any bone. Its body is soft and gelatinous, almost translucent, because anything rigid would simply be crushed. Instead of fighting the pressure, it lets the water pass through it, equalizing the force inside and out. And at the chemical level, it is held together by a special molecule that stops the immense pressure from destroying its proteins. But even that trick has a hard limit. Below roughly 8,000 meters, scientists believe that molecule can no longer keep up, which may be the very reason no fish has ever been found deeper. The snailfish is living almost exactly at the edge of what is biologically possible, and still, it is not the most extreme survivor down there, because some creatures do not just endure the deep. They press themselves against heat that would cook almost anything alive. Near cracks in the seafloor, scalding, mineral-rich water erupts from inside the earth at temperatures that can climb past 400 degrees. And living right there, attached to those superheated chimneys, is the Pompeii worm. It is one of the most heat-tolerant animals known. Its tail sits in water hot enough to seriously burn, while its head rests in cooler water nearby, meaning a single small worm can bridge one of the steepest temperature differences any animal endures. Its survival trick is a partnership. The worm's back is covered in a thick fleece-like layer of bacteria, and scientists believe that fuzzy coat helps shield it from the worst of the heat. The worm gives the bacteria a home, and the bacteria help keep the worm alive. That kind of alliance turns out to be the key to the deepest secret of all, the one that rewrote what scientists thought life even needed. For all of human history, there was one rule about life that seemed absolutely certain. Every living thing, in the end, depends on the sun. Plants turn sunlight into energy, animals eat the plants, and the whole chain of life traces back to that one source. Without sunlight, the thinking went, complex life simply could not exist. The deep ocean, with no sun at all, was assumed to be a near-empty desert. Then, in 1977, scientists exploring the seafloor near the Galapagos Islands found something that should not have been there. Around cracks in the ocean bottom called hydrothermal vents, where chemical-rich water poured out of the earth, they discovered entire thriving communities of life. Clusters of giant tube worms, taller than a person, with no mouth, no stomach, and no eyes. Packed together in the dark, in water that should have been lethal. And here is the payoff to everything. Those tube worms were not living on sunlight or on food drifting from above. Inside their bodies, they host billions of bacteria, and those bacteria do something extraordinary. They take the chemicals streaming out of the vents and turn them directly into energy and food. A process called chemosynthesis. It is photosynthesis with the sun removed, replaced by raw chemistry from inside the planet. In a single discovery, the old rule shattered. Life did not need the sun after all. It had found a completely separate way to exist, in the deepest, darkest, most hostile place we know, running on the heat of the earth itself. So how does anything survive where nothing should? Not by being tougher than the deep, but by surrendering to it and finding a stranger path. The anglerfish makes its own light. The snailfish lets the pressure pass straight through its soft body. The Pompeii worm hides behind a coat of living bacteria. And the tube worm escaped the oldest rule of all, building a whole world powered by chemistry instead of the sun. These creatures are not just survivors. They are proof that life is far more inventive and far more stubborn than we ever imagined. And if life can thrive here, in the most extreme place on our own planet, it raises a quiet, enormous question about where else, on other worlds, it might be hiding too. If you want to see the strangest single creatures the deep has ever revealed, the ones that look like they came from another planet entirely, that story is next. Subscribe and come deeper with us.